So thanks for coming in, Tinchy, especially the night after the Brits.
Yes.
What was it? What was it like seeing Dizzy win an award? Do you think that's going to make a difference to a certain sort of music now that he's got that kind of acceptance?
Yeah, hopefully, man, because like Dizzy's been putting in the work for so many years now on a certain level, you know what I mean? So I was happy to see him win. Out of everyone who won, when like I heard when he won, I was on the table like a couple behind him. I was just talking to him before they announced these things. So I was excited for him, man. So
Yeah.
definitely, I think it's gonna like bring some more attention and obviously, hopefully, open a bit more doors.
Because I'm wondering whether the sheer fact of the matter is that for the kind of music that you make in your heart, like when it's underground,
Yeah.
by the time it crosses over and goes into the mainstream, it goes into that world that Dizzy's now definitely in, and you've
Yeah.
hit a couple of times.
Yeah.
Whether you ultimately can only get there by compromising.
I guess like with me, I can speak personally about my music. It's just what I make comes naturally. Do you know what I mean? As in like, obviously from where we come from, it's more underground, like you're saying. So it's a lot more darker beats, and feels like only like a set of people can relate and understand where it's coming from. And on a certain level, when you're making music that you're trying to make it a bit more wider for like a wider audience, it has to be. You have to have a few things in mind while you're making it. But at the same time, I never think too much. I just do what I feel is good and what I enjoy. And obviously, who you work with might think, well, maybe try this or make it this way, and then whatever works best for you, man.
Because I was just wondering, it's an interesting moment. It's like a few of you now, like Dizzy
Yeah.
and Chipmunk, and they become household names essentially.
Yeah.
Now this is quite a new thing, because previously, there's for whatever reason,
Yeah.
there's a world where it kind of doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if this is maybe the beginning of something quite positive and progressive, or whether the very nature of you belonging to a pop world, you have to essentially kind of capitulate to the demands of that world. And whether, in fact, involved in that is a kind of subversive intent, you smuggle yourself in and then try the darker things.
Every step you take is in, whenever you're in the studio recording music, you never like, I personally never put too much thought into like trying to make music for like this person or that person. I've been doing it for a lot of years now. So it's like whatever I feel like on the day, it's gonna come out. But as you're saying, I guess this is the world we're in, and certain like sorts of music might not work in the mainstream, as in the pop world, like you're saying. So as you're recording, but that's the good thing about it, because from where we've come from, it's like we've got our own sound now. Or there might be in a pop world, in the mainstream, it's not like, say, maybe like it wouldn't be like a song where it might be like more like a pop group, like say like a JLS or something. I mean, it's different. So and whilst that develops and grows and people buy into albums and hear what you're about fully, and then hopefully that grows, and then so I think it's more about the fans enjoying and liking you as an artist as well as your music, but as in buying into you so they see where you're coming from, and there's always messages in our music.
But there's a world where you came from, and very definitely you've had to adjust in a way to become a pop
definitely
chart act. So how does that make you feel then? Is that part of a mission, a plan, or is it just something that you've just noticed actually you're good at doing?
It must be something I'm good at doing, because I never once sat down and thought, how can I change this to that? It was always a thing like, let me just make some music, and I'm like, I'm always like, say what the music I'll be recording now might be a slight difference from the album that I just got out now, Catch 22, because every time you go in the studio, I was trying to make something where I feel like I haven't made before, and obviously, or something but improving it. So, and at the same time, while I go studio, we still record the darker stuff. It's just what gets to the mainstream level, because some radio DJs or whoever you might give them 2 tracks, but this might suit their show more than the other one. Do you know what I mean? So I still record and just go in the studio and have fun.
And what did you feel that you wanted to say, and how easy did it come to you to say it?
Because it depends on who you listen to. At the young stage, listen to whoever you listen to. I grew up listening to a lot of garage music, like hip hop really. But when I started writing my lyrics, is because like garage that was around. Like say there was like Pay As You Go crew that had Wiley in it, Heartless Crews, a few people I used to listen to, and then like listen to what they were saying, and at the same time the rappers who I listened to before, like Biggie Smalls, Jay-Z, like Tupac, everyone, Bone Thugs and how many, and then what they were speaking about. At the time, I wasn't really looking into too deep, as in they're speaking about their lives or what they're getting for a full year. They're good with their lyrics, and you know what I mean? So you just wanted to speak what they were speaking about. But as you get older and then you learn more about it and listen and take it more, and you realize that they're speaking from their experiences. So you start speaking about what you go through and what's happening around you. So this used to come to my head, you know what I mean? Just naturally, and obviously with a bit of excitement and a twist. 'Cause if you just spoke about your whole life and your lyrics and no style or no flow to it, it would just be boring, man.
Now tell me something. I find this really interesting, that the major influence on someone like you is going to be this American thing to an extent. and you talk about a lot of American names there, but yet
Yeah.
in a funny sort of way, the American experience is so alien to the British, the English experience.
Yeah.
So what is it when you're influenced by those guys that have had a particular, story and part of a certain thing, but how does that relate to what you want to do in this particular country? Can you see a connection, or are you just emulating a kind of American fantasy in a way?
Yeah, like I'm saying, from when you was younger, we didn't think of it any as deep as that. You just watch your TV, or you see on your TV, it looks like these people are so successful with their music, and look at their videos and look at the cars and look at that. And when you're young, you're just like, I guess, fazed by everything. So this is what you want, do you know what I mean? And I wasn't like, say I might like maybe like an Oasis song when I was younger, but their life, which they looked like they was living, wasn't how I grew up or what I was trying to be like. Yeah. It's different music to what I grew up to. So,
but isn't the Oasis experience in a funny sort of way going to be closer to your English roots
I guess,
than a Biggie Smalls? I mean,
I guess,
you know what I mean?
I guess in a way, at the same time, maybe not, because if I'm on tour and then I'm performing, it's more like they're more like, I don't know, maybe like with a band and playing, and I'm just like, when you first started anyway, but it's just like the mic, your DJ, do you know what I mean? So it's relating more to how hip hop started. It's just simple as that.
Can I ask you something about the word, the phrase or the word hip hop?
Yeah.
Because it means so many different things to so many different people, and in a way it's become its own universe, just like once upon a time the word pop was. It meant so many things.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, when you think of hip-hop, what it is that it means to you?
When I think of hip-hop, I guess personally, if you think about hip-hop, I just think of rap music, and which obviously started in the US, do you know what I mean? Obviously there's hip-hop everywhere now, globally, world. That's how big it's got. Like, for example, like for Jay-Z to headline Glastonbury, just shows you how big hip-hop is now. So like, it's just one of them things where I never think of it too deep. I think of hip-hop, rap music, what I listen to, and it gets me, like, I put on certain tracks when I'm in certain moods, and it gets you through certain things when you're just driving about, listen to certain things. When you go to the club, certain tracks come on. So yeah, that's just what I think of it.
And is it a case that it opens up so many possibilities for someone like you? Because like you say, you're not necessarily a singer.
Yeah.
Maybe not even necessarily technically a musician.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of framework that gives you the opportunity to suddenly be able to express yourself, and achieve success.
If it's music you grew up on and what you'd understand, because obviously people's like, I guess like what people look at a musician, someone who maybe plays this instrument or does that, and do you know what I mean? There's different worlds where you came from. So, because as well as someone might be able to go on the piano, they might not be able to write and express how they feel, like rhyming words and still entertaining you. So, so you have to be skilled in your own right.
In a way, you're identifying with people like Jay-Z, because even though in your different circumstances, the English circumstances, the very idea that someone like you can take control of your life in a way that the society suggests you can't, because of who you are, the colour of your skin, your education, the history, etc., etc. Here's a way that you've found through these precedents of taking control of your own destiny.
From being black or alone, it's like a difficulty, especially like in the music industry or whatever, you know what I mean? But obviously it's like I'm saying, things are changing, but that's been going on for ages. Like, I grew up into that. So it's not a thing of thinking, well, this is like, I'm the person who's come to change that. You just have to know what's around and you just do what you do, and I guess some things are out of your hand. But like you're saying, like with people like that, as in like Jay-Z, why you have to respect what they do, because like he come from a situation where he came from, like, he's hood where we grew up in, and then he's like came up as a businessman, and now he owns things, and you know what I mean, like he's like important in the music world. So I guess things like that alone makes you feel like someone you have to look up to and respect as a businessman.
It's almost subversive just to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
Because the assumption has always been, rather dreadfully, that you've got ulterior motives, that you know there's something else going on. But what you're actually saying is the point is to be an entertainer.
Yeah, man. Like that's what we do. That's what I do. So, like, all the other things that are going on, and like it's just in the whole world is happening somewhere. You know what I mean? It's happening in, like you're saying, in black communities. It's happening in white communities. It's happening maybe on a different level. Maybe like there's always, even from films alone, watching films, and people always believe like music might influence people so bad from listening to someone's music, what they're talking about. At the same time, you can watch a film that's giving you 10 more worse messages than what one song might be telling you. So I guess it's just how you like go around it. But personally with me, that's what I do. I make music and I'm an entertainer.
You're definitely thinking of yourself as being a role model, and you think that it's important that you are a role model.
Yeah, I guess I don't choose to be a role model. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to make music, rap music, and put my music out and then entertain. But a lot of younger people, other people might look to you and think, I want to do what he does and look into everything so deep what you do. But I guess that comes with it. But I've never like looked at myself before and thought, yeah, I'm a role model, so here's what I must do. Because whatever I do is natural, and I just keep it real with myself. So if that's what like obviously, but at the same time you have to keep it in mind where like I've got little cousins and nephews where
Yeah.
they might look at you and want to dress like you and do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So you got to be aware of it. You got to keep it in mind.
So what kind of moment do you think we might be in when
Yeah.
this is starting to happen? Because it hasn't happened for a long, well, if at all, hasn't happened for a long time. The idea of black British music actually sort of being very, very present
Yeah.
in the pop charts. So do you think it's a key moment, and do you think it's something that you have to sort of, again, take responsibility for where it goes next?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a key moment because like I'm saying, a lot of people like now they feel like there's someone they can relate to and feel like I want to be like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's a positive in a way because people like now want to go studio, record music and think, yes, like I know him. He's just from my era. He's doing it, so we can do it as well. And if you're making good music and if it's for you and your heart's in it, then you can achieve what you're supposed to achieve. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I guess like I'm in it thinking, well, this is what I want to do. So it's at stages where you might think, well, yeah, this is a key moment, as in like to stamp whatever. But at the same time, I believe in good music will always last, man. Do you know what I mean? In one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you feel about your situation at the moment? Do you sometimes look at it and feel quite astonished that it's happened?
Yeah. Sometimes I do feel like it's crazy from one, feel like it happened like so quick. Everything happened so fast in 2009. It was a good year for me. Like when sometimes I sit back, I never really sit back and think on things and that. But sometimes when I actually think about everything that's happened, I'm proud of myself, man. And it's a lot of hard work. Hard work really pays off.
And a strange time for music as well, for all sorts of reasons, as the internet kicks in. The way you distribute your music, the way you sell yourself. I mean, is that another reason you think that what we could describe in a generalised sense as the hip hop mentality really suits the moment?
Yeah.
Because it's about being quick. It's about thinking on your feet. It's about
I guess so.
Situations.
Yeah, because the internet plays a key part now. Do you know what I mean? And like I'm saying, it's just one of them things that we naturally do. Say I might be on tour, just filming it and just letting the fans see what you're up to and keeping in touch, you know what I mean? And in some other like genres of music, it might not be what they do in their day-to-day, you know what I mean? Just filming it and keeping it as real as. So I guess in a sense it does work. Yeah, it works for us.
And what about that awful sense of the purist that might look at what you're doing and even Dizzy as well and say, yeah, but by the very nature, I think I'm going back to the first question, but I'll do it again. By the very nature of you making it and having #1 hits, it has to involve a kind of compromise, or is that something that you would turn around and say, but the point is, if we don't do it, then nothing will change.
Even if you don't realize that, even if you're not like purposely going out to compromise, it just like naturally will happen. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're at a certain level, at a certain stage, you just have to understand what world you're in, and do you know what I mean? And that happens, I guess that happens with every artist, every act. Like one way or the other, you got to compromise in the slightest way where you might never notice you've changed in the slightest. So, but in the long run, I guess it works out because if that slight compromise helps you like be involved in that world where it paves the way for other people, where so it's all positive and everyone's doing something good with themselves, then yeah, it's a good thing.
And is the ultimate dream to be an international success, be an American success? Would that make it particularly real that you could do that?
Yeah, I guess so. Like being like international with it is always something that's on your mind. Like I'm saying, I came up watching a lot of TV and thinking you go to different countries and you see the same music videos and same artists and that are big in every country. So you have to understand there's different levels of it, and I guess that's the aim overall. Do you know what I mean? But you got to start somewhere.